We planted a few flowers in our garden this year. It was the first year I ever did a garden. Actually, I tried last year, but it didn't work out. I was pregnant and sick, and it just didn't work out. So this year we have a real garden in the ground. These did not come from our garden, unfortunately. We are just starting to finally get some blooms, but I've been really excited at just seeing things grow and feeling the success, even though it's very small success. But these came from Target, and I just put this bouquet together for one of our neighbors. And I have to admit, I was tempted to keep it myself because I thought that they were so pretty. But this was just a fun little pretty thing to do in my home and brought me a little joy, and hope it brought her some joy as well.
Wally size, see?
Yes. So I've been on the hunt for this space. We have a clavinova that was actually gifted to us, and we also might eventually get my grandma's piano, which is an upright, which I think would actually look prettier in here with everything else that I have, and then this could go in like a music, you know, more of like a loud music space. For now, this is what we have up here, and we love it. I've been wanting to decorate this area. I have holes all in the wall here because I used to have kind of a collage, and then I wasn't loving that. So I've been on the lookout for a mirror, and I originally had in mind kind of one of those, I think they're originally from Anthropologie, but then other stores have been making them. You can find them on Amazon, Hobby Lobby. They're straight on the bottom, and then they curve like on the top, and then they're kind of vintage looking. But the cheapest I probably could find it was Hobby Lobby when they're half off, and then they're still like 40 bucks, 30 or 40 bucks, which isn't terrible, but I just haven't, I don't know, I just haven't wanted to spend it. I thought if I find something at a thrift store or Facebook Marketplace, I will do that instead. So this is a little bit different style than I had in mind. So I'm reconfiguring what I want for this space. But I found this at Goodwill for $9.99, and it's really heavy. It is quite big, and I don't think I could find a better price, so that's why I just snagged it, even though this is taller, and I was kind of thinking wider for the mirror. So now I'm not sure if this is going to work here. I mean, it could be pretty. It's pretty. But my original thought was to do a mirror and then do some of my blue transferware plates around it. But because of this style, I don't know if I want that anymore. And then I thought, is this wall too big because of how tall this is? Should I put it over here and then just leave that wall blank? And then eventually we'll probably have an upright piano here, so it would be wood. Or here, and then leave that wall blank, or I don't know, 3 small wood frames in a row or something. I don't necessarily want stuff on every wall, but I like maximalist stuff on the walls. Like I like how that feels. It just gives a really cozy vibe. So I'm not opposed to doing both, but I'm gonna give this a good clean. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll paint it and make it a different color. But now that I'm looking at it in here, I like it just as it is. So I don't think I'm gonna do a single thing to this. It's just perfect and beautiful the way it is. So after giving this mirror a wipe down, I ended up just hanging it up. I thought about it for a little while, and I was like, you know what? I really liked it by the curtains. So I hung it on the smaller wall there, and it is still there, and I'm happy to report back that I still love it. Every time I walk in the room now, I just feel so happy, and I think it's beautiful, and it just fits perfectly. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't paint anything. I just left it as is, and I love it. So I'm thinking on the wall above the piano, I'm going to do 3 frames in a row, all the same size, and I'm going to do something, I don't know, when you look it up on Etsy, it's like cottagecore prints or something like that. Something that all goes together, probably floral, and it'll just be 3 of the same frames, and then 3 prints that complement one another that are part of a set. I probably won't do that for a while because everything costs money and everything is done slowly, which is totally okay. I find that I'm really enjoying this process because it has been so slow. It feels like every little step towards making the space beautiful just feels that much more worth it. It's really important to me as a homemaker to make time for creating beauty. It can be difficult with children because duty calls and they have lots of needs and they come first. I'm definitely very convicted of that the family and the home comes first, within reason, of course. You could always be moving the goalposts thinking that, it has to be perfectly spotless all the time, and that is not true. I think reasonably clean is good. Everybody's loved, everybody's fed, cared for. Those are kind of, what I try to go by. But beyond that, I have to spend time being creative. And I was like this before even becoming a homemaker. I needed time to do that. So here I am making a little gift for a family member. I found these at Hobby Lobby. I was going to get different fabric, but then they had these little just like stock fabrics that were like, I think they were less than $2. And I found one that I thought would match all right with the frame. So I went with that. I had initially wanted to find a vintage frame from the thrift store, but the thing with thrifting is that you have to be very patient, and this was actually kind of a last minute project. So I just went to Hobby Lobby. Thankfully, their frames were 40% off, which is, like I've said before, what I think things are worth there anyway. And I found this green one, and I took out the glass, and then I just measured on the fabric loosely and then cut it loosely. It definitely wasn't perfect. And then I hot glued that to the back flap of the frame. So that is just the fabric on the front, if that makes sense. There's no glass because I wanted to attach things to the fabric, and the glass would be in the way of that. I got this idea from Pinterest. I'm always just looking on Pinterest at things that I like, and then I think, okay, how can I just recreate that? It doesn't have to be exact, but how can I take that idea and create something? And sometimes it's for my own home, and sometimes it ends up being for other people. Both of them are really, really fun, but I just find that I need the time to do stuff like this. It really helps my mood, helps me to feel relaxed, and I also just think that humans are meant to create versus just consume all the time. So it's nice to have something like this to put my hand to. I find homemaking in the summertime actually a little bit more frustrating to my creative side, just because we are outside so much, which is wonderful. It feels amazing. It's great. It's so good for the kids. It's good for everybody, all of the natural light, the sunlight. But because of that, when we're inside, I kind of have to just be tending to things. It feels like when I'm inside, I'm just doing chores. There's just less time for creative pursuits. I feel like that's a lot easier in the fall and the winter when you're not outside as much. But nonetheless, I do try to make time for it here and there, even in the summer. Oh, I did forget to mention that this was really crinkly from being folded up, and I don't have an ironing board. We just don't do it. I don't know. We have an iron, but we don't have a board. But we do have a couple of steamers. We have this little handheld one, and then we have a bigger one too. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to use a chip clip, and I'm just going to steam this out the best that I can. And it actually worked pretty well, but it got hot on my hand, so I had to keep putting it down and just kind of do it slowly. So that got the crinkle out in the middle pretty good. And I'm actually going to use the rest of this fabric in a different project for my husband, because there's enough left over, which is really nice. So if you haven't looked at Hobby Lobby before at their fabric, which I'm sure a lot of you have, but I didn't realize they had those little, like the pre-packaged ones, and they're really cheap. So that was a good find. So this was definitely not glued on perfectly. I did the best that I could on the back, but I really like the kind of taupe gray with the green. I think it turned out really pretty. And then what I did after this was type up a Bible verse, and then I found these little clips. They're like little metal clips at Hobby Lobby, and I hot glued that on there, and then I attached the Bible verse to that. And then below it, I just glued a picture of my kids on there, and it's so cute. Every time I make something like this for somebody else, I'm like, okay, now what can I do for my own house, because I love it so much. It just turned out really cute. So I just typed everything up on Canva, made it the right size, and that was that. So let me know what you like to do in your home. I know some people are more into the cooking aspect, some people really like decorating, organizing, whatever it is. These are parts of homemaking that, while I wouldn't say they fall under duties, they are still a very important part of the homemaker's job, because it has to do with how the home feels, and that definitely affects not only her but everybody else too. So I don't know. I have found that I enjoy cooking a lot more than I used to as I've been learning how to do it more. But I still think that the decorating is my absolute favorite part. I'm like, what am I going to do when I get to the point where I feel like my house is kind of complete, which I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. I feel like it's always a work in progress. Then I'll just have to start changing the colors of things or adding paint colors. I'm not really sure. But that's definitely been consistently my favorite part of it. And the hard part with that too is that it does take time and sometimes money, depending on if you're using things that you already have or if you have to go to the thrift or whatever it is. But it's so much fun. I love it. So here's the frame before we have anything else on the top of it. And this is just me typing up the Bible verse. Not that you really need me to show you how Canva works. I'm sure everybody knows. This is something I've been seeing a lot on my Pinterest though, is the frames with fabric. And then sometimes they'll put quotes or just a picture with a little clip. And I think it's so cute and beautiful. I want to do more for like a homeschool room, a playroom. I don't know, it'd even be cute in the kitchen if you had something to go along with like cooking or something like that, a little quote or a Bible verse. It's just really cute. I don't even know what you would look up, maybe like vintage fabric frame on Pinterest and to see what comes up, but there are so many cute options. So thank you so much for joining me for this little creative video, sharing some things that I've been working on in my home. Let me know down below what you are working on and what things bring you joy in your homemaking in the midst of the mundane that we have to do every single day.